What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and in this video I'd like to discuss two topics that have come up over the past 24 hours in the crypto space that have been kind of hot topics. So if that sounds good to you, sorry, I thought I heard something. It was a dog barking outside. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay, it is the 9th day of September today, and what we're talking about is the news. We're going to talk about the news. Yes, the news here. Let me show you, right? Yesterday, and I mean, really, if we look at this, there's a lot of quote unquote good news pieces here, maybe neutral pieces, whatever. But I want to talk about the largest NPM attack in history. Stole less than $50. I've heard $60. I've heard $20. Whatever. I don't know. People have their theories on this, but I'll give my thoughts on this real quick. I think first off, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but who cares, right? As long as your crypto's not involved in any of these ledger wallets or any wallets that are affected by this, I think that you're okay. And if you are affected by this, or you have some wallets that are potential vulnerabilities, this is just a lesson that you should maybe move them off, right? Ledger's had a bit of a shaky reputation lately, right? With all kinds of backdoor issues. Not necessarily security issues though, but more like privacy issues, but now security issues as well. I don't think this is detrimental. I don't think this is detrimental to the space at all. I think that it's a hiccup. I think it's a news piece. And we did say, a few days ago, I did make a video saying that as we get toward the lows, we're going to get negative news. We are going to get negative news, and we're going to get so much negative news, or maybe there will be a story so much so that it makes you think that this is the end of crypto. This is the end of the world for crypto. The bear market's got to start now. Something's wrong. Crypto's a fraud. It's a scam, right? What better story than the largest NPM hack in history? Now, there wasn't that much money stolen. It's kind of odd, isn't it, right? You had this large hack, and yet they didn't steal a bunch of money. They were sophisticated enough to do the hack, but not sophisticated enough to steal the right coins. I'm confused. Was it just like a warning shot? Was this a warning shot for people maybe to get their funds off of these affected wallets? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe this develops. Maybe there's more to be told, and maybe that'll be told loudest when we're at the lows. So again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but prepare yourselves mentally and emotionally. I don't know how a lot of you felt over the past 24 hours, but you see now, like a day later, it's a big nothing burger. Who cares? It's a fart in the wind. It doesn't matter. Crypto is still going to go up. We're going to see new all-time highs. The bull market is still very much alive. And I still do believe that we go a little bit lower, but I could be proven wrong on that. Maybe we don't go lower at all. Maybe the low is in for Bitcoin and we're moving up higher. But the bull market overall is alive and well, and I do anticipate September to close green, one way or another. So I am at the moment still thinking that Bitcoin comes down between now and like the FOMC meeting. I think that we do see lower lows around $103,000 to $106,000. But I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong on that. Maybe the low is in. But as we start to get more negative news, isn't it funny? The first couple of negative news articles we've had in really like a few weeks comes out at the low points, right? And I would think that as we go lower, we're going to get more negative news, right? Shifting back to this, a lot of this stuff is bullish, but some of it's neutral. As one of these says, it's lukewarm. There's another news piece that people are talking about, which is Putin advisors accuse U.S. of using crypto to offload $35 trillion in debt, which, I mean, first off, for the United States, I guess it's a good thing, right? We want to get rid of our debt. That's not a bad thing for the U.S. And the U.S. is the biggest holder. United States institutions, government, and citizens are the biggest holders of Bitcoin and crypto. We're like literally the biggest holders of all the top 10 cryptos, and I think the majority of cryptos in the world. As far as like overall capital goes, we have the most invested. So, I mean, it makes sense that we might use crypto to pay off our debt. But my thoughts here, and talking about using, I think he said stablecoin specifically. We'll read this in a second. But my thoughts here are, how are we going to use crypto to pay off our debt without in some way benefiting crypto first, right? Like, how are we going to use it to pay it off? Oh, well, they're going to invest in Bitcoin, and then when it goes up, they're going to sell Bitcoin to pay off their debt. Okay. So we're going to invest in Bitcoin and pump up the price, and then when it's higher, we're going to sell, right? Just like anybody who's investing. Okay, maybe. Is it with stable coins? How? We're just going to make our own stable coins and then print our way out of debt that way, but then what, go into debt with stable coins? Or are we going to implement the system, integrate it into society, and then are we going to use those fees, those transaction fees, to pay off the debt? There's going to have to be some kind of way where if we're benefiting from it, the crypto space is going to be benefiting from it, right? That makes sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to read this. At an economic forum, Vladivostok, I don't know, Vladivostok. Yeah, one of President Putin's top advisors made a bold claim. He said the United States might try to wipe away its massive national debt by reshaping the way gold and cryptocurrencies are used globally. The plan, according to him, would come at the cost of other countries that still rely heavily on the dollar. Trust in the dollar is slipping. Yeah. It's always slipping, right? Trump wants a weak dollar. It's better for business. Anton Kobiakov, the advisor behind the comments, pointed to a growing loss of confidence in the U.S. dollar. Right, one of our biggest competitors. No wonder that they're talking smack about the dollar. He believes that the U.S. is preparing to lean on gold and digital assets to soften the blow. The idea is to create an alternative way to handle debt while maintaining economic control. In his view, this isn't about building something new, but about rewriting the system to keep power from slipping. Yes, absolutely, but that's not news. We all know that. Yes, the United States wants to get involved with crypto. They want to restructure their financial ecosystem so that they maintain an economic, maintain the title of economic powerhouse of the world. Of course, right? Sounds like he's just mad that Russia's behind in that aspect. I don't know. Shout out to the Russians out there though, and the Ukrainians. No hate, no love, or I mean all love. Stable coins could play a quiet role, probably a very loud role, right? Whenever it comes to institutional involvement, banks, institutions, their business is lending the dollar, taking your dollar. You borrow it, they borrow money too, they lend. It's all about the dollar. If stable coins based in the dollar are a thing, and they're a better thing than just physical cash, or even the way that digital cash is done now, which it is, then of course they're going to use stablecoins. Hinted at the stablecoins, Kobiakov it even hinted that stablecoins could be used to stash national debt in what he called a crypto cloud. Once tucked away in digital form, that debt could be then quietly devalued. It's a drastic theory, but I don't know how that would happen. I mean, how is the debt going to get devalued? Because the dollar gets devalued? But that happens. I don't what because we're going to inflate the U.S. dollar and then your debt's going to be worth less. Oh no! When has that ever happened before? That's why we keep going into debt. It's a drastic theory, but one that echoes long-standing concerns about hidden financial strategies. I don't think it's hidden. I mean, maybe there's some. There's obviously some, but they're pretty transparent about wanting to do this. He seemed to suggest this wouldn't just be a shift in technology, but a shift in accountability too. Maybe the past might offer some clues. He also, and maybe I'm missing something. I'm not an economist. I'm not an expert in this, but I'm giving my thoughts as I'm reading this. He also looked back to an earlier moments in U.S. history in both the 1930s and 1970s. Financial stresses pushed the government to take unusual steps. Kobiakov drew a line between those moments and today's changing markets. If the past is any guide, he said, then today's tools just might be serving an old goal with a modern twist. Yeah, they're just trying to get out of debt. And then they show a chart of Ethereum. They talk about the charts, but they show the chart of Ethereum. They're not. A move like this could rock the system. They're using a bunch of bold words, but they're not really giving us anything, are they? The dollar might no longer hold its central role. Well, if stablecoins do, then the dollar will. It'll just become a stablecoin thing. This is a hit piece on stablecoins. This is a hit piece on in this news story. All it is just a hit piece on the advancement of the dollar. Right? The dollar will devalue, and that will devalue debt. Of course, it will. But it's an advancement in the technology of the U.S. dollar, of the currency, right? That's not a bad thing. Again, how is the United States going to pay off its debt with crypto without first benefiting the ecosystem to some degree, right? That'd be like me, who owns no physical gold bars at all. I don't own any physical gold at all, okay? And all of a sudden, I plan on wiping out all my debt. Let's say I'm like $100 million in debt. I want to wipe out all my debt with gold now. That's my goal. How am I going to do that? I'm going to have to acquire some gold. I'm gonna have to get. It's like I'm just going to pull gold out of thin air. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, guys. Maybe again, I'm not the most expert person in economics, but I'm just saying this something doesn't make sense to me here. And I'm sure there will be tactics. Yes, I get it. Devaluing debt to pay off debt or make it easier to pay off debt. Okay, I get it. But that's what we do anyways. That's what when you raise the debt ceiling, whenever the dollar inflates and we're losing value versus the dollar, that's what happens. Anyways, Russia's position is entirely different. It's critical to the U.S. Russia has been moving in a similar direction. Yes, they have. Of course they have. right? This is all about competition. They're just slandering the competition. Of course, it's been developing stablecoins tied to the ruble and exploring ways for wealthy citizens to trade crypto. This isn't a one-sided story. Both countries seem to be preparing for a world where digital assets play a bigger role in the government and government finance. This is a bullish thing, if anything. This really is a bullish thing, but they're spinning this as if it's some kind of bearish thing. So I'm gonna stop reading this. I don't know. I think that I've made my point. All I'm trying to say, guys, is again, the same message that we said a couple days ago, which is that and again, if I'm missing something, please fill me in the comments. Like, let me know. Don't just say you don't see how this is going to be bad. You're dumb. Okay, tell me how. Please tell me how. If you're gonna say stuff like that, or if you're gonna say anything, please educate me and anybody who reads your comment. Don't just say things without any sustenance behind it, like this news article did. Right? Don't just promote fear for no reason. It's not for no reason. Again, back to what I was saying. We're going to see more negative news. That's all they got. That's, you know what I mean? $50 in a hack and this, they're really trying. But maybe they're setting us up, they're priming the markets. You can tell how delicate things are, right? We've seen, I would say, a flare of emotions over the past 24 hours with some of this. People were genuinely freaking out. But the price action speaks for itself, right? We're not really moving down too much. We're not really doing, let's see, what are we doing right now? Oh, come on. Let's see. Yeah, we're actually moving up a little bit. Since I last talked about Bitcoin here. Again, I still think that we're going to move lower, but if you watch my last video, we did paint the scenario where I could be wrong. And if we keep moving in this area, by the time the FOMC meeting happens, if we're not moving lower by that time, we're maintaining higher lows, I doubt we go lower. If we break out higher from here, I mean, there's the strong possibility that we go all the way up to 117K, and if we do that, we validate this as a low. We might still, move up and then drop into the FOMC meeting, but from a higher low perspective, and then continue to rally. Regardless of what happens, I very much expect Bitcoin to be bullish going into the end of this month. And again, I think it's kind of uncanny. What would it be? It's kind of common. I don't know what word to use here. That the only negative news that I've heard from crypto over the past month now happened at the low points, right? And if we are moving up, it happens right before moving up, right? And these are some pretty weak things. It's clearly that the Russia accusing the United States of using crypto to wipe out their debt is clearly just a hit piece because they're a direct competitor, economically speaking. But shout out to the Russian fan. We love our Russians. We love our Ukrainians and everybody around the world. I'm not trying to go on anything political. I'm just saying it's nothing personal, right? It's just like when we were doing the tariff stuff. We love our Canadian friends, but we had a little tariff battle there. People are getting ugly with each other, man. We don't need to get ugly with each other. We're all human beings. It's the politicians that get ugly with each other and then spills into us. Don't let that happen. Anyways, whole nother note there. If we do go lower, if I'm correct in assuming that Bitcoin goes lower, we're only going to get more negative news. Do not be mistaken. The negative news will come out at the lows, at the low areas, to reinforce your bias and emotions that we have lower to go, that the market's over, that you're dumb for investing in crypto and it's a fraud and it's a scam, and what are you doing with your money in there? You need to pull it all out now and take your losses while you can, otherwise it's going to zero. It's going to make you think all those thoughts. Do not let the media, do not let your emotions dictate your decisions financially, okay? Hold through it, and if anything, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we don't get any of that, we just move on up between now and the end of the month anyways. I do expect the end of this year to be very bullish. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm in a new spot right now just because, where I normally am, it's kind of closer to my daughter's room, so I figured I'd start out here. I wake up early to make these videos so that while my family's asleep, I'm not I can still do stuff with them in the day, but then get this ball rolling. Wake up at 6 in the morning. I'll spend 2 hours making videos, but when I do it at my desk, she'll wake up. She'll come out after the first video. She likes hanging out with me, but over here, it's a little bit more quiet, so you guys are getting a little tour of the house. You've seen 3 different locations in the house now. Anyways, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.